Look at me, I can actually follow up on what I say. Let's talk FNAF lore. You know how last time we covered something inconsequential with a verdict of, it doesn't really matter, but it's fun to think about? Well, not today. This time we're asking the ever-confusing question of, are the toy animatronics from the second game haunted or not? This is a question that spins off even more questions, but let's take it slow here. Now, as I was pretty far along with the script, Kane Carter himself happened to make a poll on Twitter asking this exact question. Looks like a 56% majority believe they aren't haunted. Interesting. So, the first thing we would assume is, of course they're haunted, since this is Five Nights at Freddy's. They're violent, just like the ones we know are possessed, but who's haunting these ones? In Pizzeria Simulator, there's a picture of 6 graves, 5 for the missing children, 1 for Charlie, and that's it. So, case closed. The toys aren't haunted because there's nobody to haunt them. Right? Well, maybe not. These graves show the main victims, but it's not like this is every dead kid in Five Nights at Freddy's. For example, Elizabeth doesn't have a grave here, and neither does the younger of her brothers. So it isn't really fair to stop here. This is a deeper topic than it seems, and we need definitive proof that they aren't haunted before saying anything like that. There's something in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that can help us. The minigame Save Them shows the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's, the one we're guarding in the game, with 5 bodies scattered throughout it. They're carefully placed right where the security cameras can't see them. But how can we be sure that what we're seeing here is meant to show something that actually happened? There are several minigames in this game alone, but how can we be sure that any of them serve a lore purpose rather than just existing to scare you? Well, I think that every one of these has relevance to the story. Take Cake shows us the murder of Charlie Emily. Give Gifts, Give Life shows us that the puppet is the reason that the rest of the missing children haunt the animatronics. And then Go 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 does the same as Take Cake, showing us more murders that happened and where they did. Either Save Them is inexplicably an outlier, or more likely, Save Them has more importance than just trying to freak you out. So the minigame shows something that actually happened. Which kids are these? Are these the original 5 or a second set that haunt the toys? In the second game, Phone Guy vaguely tells us what happened in this call.
Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay? For now, just make it through the night. When the place eventually opens again, I'll probably take the night shift myself. Okay, good night, and good luck.
This, and the rest of the calls before it, imply that the animatronics acting up is a recent thing. So in 1987, while Jeremy was working, 5 children definitely went missing. But what about before then? Are there any implications or hints that this had already happened before? If not, then this is the first time that there was a missing children incident, and the toys aren't haunted. I mentioned earlier that Go 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 has relevance, but didn't get too into it. We see the old Foxy run out of his stage, with purple curtains, to find 5 bodies. There was no stage like this at the new and improved Freddy's, so these were bodies at the old location. This minigame is evidence that Save Them isn't the first time a group of 5 have died. If that isn't enough for you, Phone Guy comments on the smell of the withered animatronics in this call.
Hello? See, I told you your first night wouldn't be a problem. You're a natural. By now I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them. They even started retrofitting them with some of the newer technology, but they were just so ugly, and the smell.
This is clearly alluding to the bodies hidden in them, and it would make no sense for the murders to not have happened yet. While every other thing that can hint to murders before 1987 can easily be brushed off as a reference to Charlie's death, this comment from Phone Guy can only refer to the missing children incident. And with these additional 5 missing children, we also have an explanation for who the kids sitting at the other tables of Five Nights at Freddy's 3's Happiest Day minigame are. Who else would they be anyway? Plenty of people have made a connection to the mediocre melodies from Pizzeria Simulator. It lines up too well to be a coincidence. Those guys were definitely based off of the masks, but it's completely unreasonable to think they're haunted. Scott didn't plan that far ahead. Why are their masks not of the toys? I think they would look too similar to the main 5 who are the focus of this minigame. This way they instantly blend into the background. I've seen people claim that the toys aren't haunted, and that their behavior is really just their facial recognition and criminal detection going haywire. In the game, Phone Guy explains the toys' behavior like this.
They've spent a small fortune on these new animatronics. Facial recognition, advanced mobility, they even let them walk around during the day. Isn't that neat? But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database so they can detect a predator a mile away. Mainly, he expressed concern that certain characters seem to move around at night and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while our engineers don't really have an explanation for this, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office. You see, there may be a minor glitch in the system, something about robots seeing you as an endoskeleton without its costume on and wanting to stuff you into a suit. So hey, we've given you an empty Freddy Fazbear head. Problem solved. You can put it on any time and leave it on for as long as you want. Eventually anything that wandered in will wander back out.
Believing Phone Guy's explanation takes the minimum thinking possible, and he's proven to be an unreliable source. I'd bet that the people who believe him specifically don't like the idea of there being 2 sets of 5 missing children. Their claim has nothing to do with any evidence in the game, they just think that their version of the story is better and want to find ways to be right. That's not how it's done. The toys stare at you through cameras, and I really doubt that the facial recognition knows how to look at security cameras to intimidate security guards through their monitors. The eyes of half of them go black with white pupils, and Toy Chica disassembles her face. That doesn't sound like a feature of criminal detection to me. Plus, why would criminal detection make them violent in the first place? These are entertainer robots for children, not bouncers. They're just meant to detect criminals. Phone Guy doesn't say anything about dispatching them. Oh, gee whiz, Toy Bonnie just saw D.Y. Dylan, and now he's beating the snot out of him in front of all of the children. Come on. The facial recognition excuse is the same as saying the animatronics attack you because you look like an endoskeleton. It's a complete lie to cover up, or in-universe rationalize, the fact that these things are haunted. This is the most logical explanation. Hey, I picked a side this time. These'll be fun comments. Come back next time, I'll bring in a guest and we're gonna talk about some weird graphical stuff.